This video we are looking at something called the zero exponent property, or the zero exponent law. So I'm just going to put it out there, the zero exponent law. Right. And then I'm going to change my pen to something a little bit thinner. Okay, so what does the zero exponent law say? Well, more generally it says the following. It says that anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. For example, x to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Right? If I say y to the power of 0, it's also equal to 1. If I say heart to the power of 0, it's equal to 1. Now, to show you how this is true, let us consider the property we worked with first. When we started out here, we looked at specifically, for example, the quotient rule. We said if I take x to the power of m divided by x to the power of n, the bases are once again the same. So what I do is I keep the base and I say m minus n. That's the solution. For example, if I had x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 2, then the solution is x to the power of 5 minus 2, which is equal to x to the power of 3. Now, similarly, let's see how we can get the zero product property. If I say, for example, that's not working. Let's try this. X divided by x squared divided by x squared, and before you answer and tell me what that solution is, let's look at a few things that you may or may not already know. Let's say I've got the following. I've got 2 divided by 2. What does that give me? Well, you'll say either the 2's cancels, or you're going to say that 2 goes into 2 exactly once. And what about 5 divided by 5? The answer is 1. What about 24 divided by 24? Well, 24 goes into itself once. And if I look at similar examples, I could say the following. I could say, what about heart? Ooh, that heart. See, it's February. Heart divided by heart, it's going to be 1. Okay, so clearly you can see that if I cancel out the hearts, I get a solution of 1, which means x squared divided by x squared must also be 1. And one of the ways that we can look at this is we can say, okay, let's show how this relates to the zero power, or the zero exponent. I'm going to say x squared divided by x squared. Again, the bases are the same. Both my bases are x. And so I'm going to say, well, okay, then the exponent has to be 2 minus 2, which is going to be 0. And then that's how we get x to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So let's see a few examples. What about this thing over here? X plus 4 to the power of 0. Well, you're going to say, Imad, if you want to actually calculate that, let's say I took 7 plus 5 to the power of 0. You're going to say I first have to work out the bracket, right? I got to follow my order of operations. Brackets come first. Exponents and powers, or parentheses, and then exponents and powers, then multiplication and addition, or division and multiplication, whichever comes first on the same level, left to right, and then I can move on to addition and subtraction. So the very first thing I need to look at here is the bracket. Okay, so this set of parentheses, if I say 7 plus 5, what does that simplify to? Well, it simplifies to 12, and then I get 12 to the power of 0. And what is 12 to the power of 0? Anything to the power of 0 is just 1. So again, if I get x plus 4 to the power of 0, I first need to look at this bracket. Now I'm taking the entire bracket, the entire value of the bracket. We don't know what the bracket value is, but we know that I'm raising it to a power of 0, and therefore it's got to be equal to 1. Okay, so that's the zero product property. I mean, the zero exponent law, or the zero exponent property.